Welcome to episode 118 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey Tim, I'm doing great. Um, got a little 3-day weekend, so that's always nice. Otherwise, had to go to a little
Why
kids
do you have
party
a 3 day
today.
weekend?
Yom Kippur on Monday for all my Jewish people out there,
Oh, okay.
so we get off for that. It's weird how it lands though. Like some years we'll start the school year off and be off 3 days, or excuse me, 2 days in the first week, and then other times they're like split apart. I don't know exactly how those holidays work, but yeah, happened to land on a 3-day weekend
Is
this year.
it a New York as a whole state holiday thingy of like? Because I know
Um,
they don't have it here, but I'm sure it's
gotcha.
obviously because there's not nearly as many Jewish people that live here than they do
Right.
there. So it would be a
Yeah, I
bigger
would
deal
assume.
in New York, but it's definitely not like a national thing in terms of
Yeah.
schools or workplaces like closing for it kind of thing, at least.
Sure,
Obviously, the
yeah, I
holiday
think you're
still
right.
exists, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if it's like just specifically your city, or is it a state thing, or is it like certain schools, or like.
I want to say it's a New York State thing. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
I mean, I know that the number, like, I heard this somewhere and it was like a staggering statistic, but I think the number of Jewish people in the whole world is not even a very high number. So the fact that they're concentrated a lot in certain places is like, let me see. Let me say Jewish population, let's say worldwide, right? It's actually way lower than I thought. It's 16 million in the whole world. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So that being said, I think there is, let's see, Jewish population, let's say New York, about 1.6 million residents. Oh, but New York State is home more than 2.2 million.
So
Yeah, and
that's a
now
large portion
let's
of them.
see, let's
Yeah,
see
yeah,
Florida.
yeah, yeah.
Jewish population in Florida, 41,000. So yeah,
Yeah.
obviously
Compared
way
to
less.
2 million for the state.
It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
highest concentration of Jews can be found in New York City, California. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So the point is, I'm off, so that's great. So I'm gonna take advantage. Maybe stay up tonight, play some games. Catch back up. I'm so behind. I feel like on so many games. My PlayStation 5 has been in rest mode for like a month now. So I got to
Yeah,
get on that. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
otherwise everything's cool, man.
Speaking of PS5, Asa, who I had on the show, I asked him what I ask others of like, hey, what's your favorite system? What's your like favorite franchises? Well, when he said system, he said PS5. But I want to correct something. Asa, who just went on, if you look at the latest episode, I didn't record myself. I was like, no way. So I asked one of my friends. So I went to senior year of high school with him, and
Okay.
then funny enough, I haven't seen him since, and he now sits right next to me at my job. So like when I saw his name popping up of like who was starting my job, I was like, man, that name sounds real familiar, and I look him up, and sure enough, I'm like, oh, I went to school with him. That's funny. Anyway, he came on the show and he said his favorite system was PS5. Now, he said something in that when I went back and listened to it, and I was like, wait, that's wrong. He said all previous PlayStation games was on the system, but I didn't catch that when he initially said it.
Mm,
And it just sort of went. And I was like, that's definitely wrong. And I wanted to notate that. He's probably
gotcha.
just assuming that because, you have like the classics.
Right,
So
right.
you'll have like 20 PS1 games or maybe like 10 PS2 games or whatever. But that in no way is that even what 2% of the system's catalog. So
Sure,
um,
sure.
anyway, I needed to recorrect that, but I was surprised that he said a current system of any form would be
Interesting. Yeah.
favorite. But there's no right or wrong answer, and I actually think that's a little cool and interesting that it's like, oh
Sure.
no, just the current one. And hey, maybe if I think about it a lot, like maybe I could say the Switch is like maybe it's the best system in my opinion that's ever released
Yeah.
if I want to put a lot of energy and thought into that question of like I could see myself maybe coming to that conclusion, but that's still
Uh-huh.
just so hard for me to think about because it's current. It's like
Right,
it's
hasn't finished
hard
either.
to say that it's the best when it's only a few years and it's what's currently like getting used a lot, you know.
I could see people picking that, you know.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
system. I
yeah.
could see it, but yeah, I also get what you're saying. So
Yeah, because it only has right now, what, maybe 8 or 9 exclusives? If no, because
it's
PS4, you
probably
really only have like maybe 4 or 5, if you really think about it. Because it's like Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls.
Final Fantasy's 15,
Yeah,
16.
yeah, 3.
Um, I guess Final Fantasy 7. If we're talking about console
Because when I go back
exclusive,
to PS1, I'm thinking of like 130 games that are only on that system.
sure. I think there's definitely more than 4 or 5. It's just a lot of them
I don't know.
are kind of muddied, right? Because maybe it's a timed exclusive or whatever. Because like right now, we just named what is it? Demon
Yeah, but
Souls,
I think
Ratchet and
that's it.
Clank, Returnal, right?
Returnal's PC, but
Well,
let's
I
still
mean console
consider that
exclusive.
console
Yeah.
exclusive. So
Because if we're
Returnal
doing
can
that,
fall in that.
then
Returnal
Xbox
could
would
fall.
have zero, I guess.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um,
So
hold on,
4.
buddy. Hold on 1 sec. Um, hold on. There's definitely more. Sackboy.
Sackboy's on
Um,
PS4, I think.
oh, is it? Okay, I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Okay, let's see. I know Miles Morales is on PS4. Horizon too.
it's
Oh no, it's on
PS4.
PS4.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know.
but that isn't the only thing that defines a system. I just think
Of
it's an
course, yeah.
important thing that defines a system. It is like the first thing I think of. Okay, games, right? It's a gaming platform. What games are on this thing, you know? Now, once you
Right.
consider the rest of like, okay, well, how does it run stuff? What's the UI? All of that stuff, and you put that into the equation, you know, you can come up with a current system still being your favorite, all things included.
Sure.
Um,
Sure. Yep.
but I think I'll put games as the biggest there. Anyway, okay. It had me thinking for a while after that episode. I kept like thinking on that and being like, that's cool. I didn't consider people would be considering the new systems as being their absolute favorite
Right.
console.
Right.
I didn't even like think of that as a thing. So neat. Let's get into, you brought a main topic to the table, revisiting
Yeah.
games for DLC.
Yeah. So I guess I wanted to talk about this because I know that there are people that I see who, let's say a game comes out that they really love, they really enjoy it, they beat it, they do everything in it, and the DLC drops 6 months later. There are people I know that are like, nope, I'm not interested. I have no interest in revisiting this game. And then I know people who DLC will come out 2 years later and they're like, oh, I can't wait to get back into this game. And I think for me personally, it just depends on the game. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on it. For me personally, like Resident Evil 4, for example, this DLC, I wasn't even following. I didn't even know it was dropping. So all of a sudden it drops. So one thing I take into account is time, right? That's always a big one. Like, okay, I've already beaten this game. I spent a lot of time with it. How long is this DLC? Okay, it's 3 hours long. All right, I'll jump back in. And also, obviously, quality of the game. I know how good Resident Evil 4 is. What am I expecting from this? Probably just more Resident Evil, which is okay with me. And so I jump back in. Then you have something like Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, right? So I bought that. I'm going to play it next. But I know how much I love the original game. I know how much I got out of the original game. I know how much time I spent with the original game. And the quality of that game for me is so high that I'm like, I have to play this. There's no question about it, you know? And the last example I'd say more recently that I'm thinking of is Elden Ring. Elden Ring DLC, I'm like, this game is a masterpiece. Whenever it comes out, I have to drop everything and play it, you know? But then there's others where I'm like, I think I've got my fill of it. And that happens sometimes. Like, what's the name of that game I was playing that had the music and you kill people? It's like a demon thing. Oh my God, what is it called? Metal Hellsinger?
Oh
That
yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah.
That game I saw recently had a DLC, and I'm like, do I want to go back that bad to play the DLC? Probably not. And so I skipped it, you know? So I guess I was curious what you do because it kind of blew my mind that there's people who never play DLC ever at all. You know, meanwhile, I'm over here playing DLC for Mario Kart, for this game, that game. You know, I really do like to do the DLC thing. So yeah.
Well,
What
I
do you
was
think?
gonna ask you one last thing of realistically try to throw a number. I mean, obviously you're not going to be right. Have you
Right?
played like, you think like 10 DLCs, like 30 DLCs? Like
Like
if you
ever?
really, yeah, just like if you
Oh,
were to try to come up with just an overgeneralization number, like has it, you think
you
it's
know
been
what?
100? You think it's been 20?
I have a way to at least get an idea. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look at my
Yeah, it
my
doesn't
list of
need to
games
be
of the year.
exact, but I'm just
Let's
curious
see.
on the
I'm
realm.
gonna go back to like a normal year where I'm gaming a decent amount because I haven't been gaming as much this year. So let me go to like 2021. Let me see. Let's see. So far, Bowser's Fury was one DLC that year. Little Nightmares, I played the DLC. That's 2. Doom Eternal: The Ancient Gods Part 2. That's 3. Virgin Clan Rift Apart. Final Fantasy VII Remake Episode Intermission. That's 4. Psychonaut and the no, that's a VR game. Never mind. Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island. That's 5. Hold on, buddy. One sec. Life is Strange Wavelengths DLC. That's 6. And that's it. So I played 6 DLCs in that year. So
DLC's been a thing since like 2007 or 8, let's say. Let's
I was
say
gonna say, like, so
2008.
let's just throw like a 15 years on
Let's say
there or
let's say
so.
50 DLCs. Does that sound pretty
I think it'd probably honestly be even a little higher than that.
okay?
Maybe like
70?
60 to 70 or something. I would guess because I do play a lot of DLC. You know.
Because I'm gonna
So.
say like maybe like 8 in total for me.
Oh
Really,
wow.
really
Okay. So
low.
you
I
don't go
really
back a
don't
lot
mess
usually.
with DLCs. I really don't. Once I'm done with the game, I really don't
Yeah.
like to go back to it unless it's like okay, I'm playing a Mario game, right? And I can clear
Right.
through it in
Right.
a few hours. That's different.
What's the last one that
But
you played?
the last like DLC, I don't even
You played the
know.
Xenoblade DLC?
Oh, okay, yes. I did do the DLC of Xenoblade 1 and 2. With 3, I played the very beginning. I'm super, super hyped, but it's almost too good and important to the overall that I want to set aside a time
Right.
to, like, when I'm not playing other things, I really want to pay attention to what's going on, because it's like, if the people who play the Xenoblade Chronicle games understand the importance of this final one. It's like bringing them all together in a really anything I would slightly say would spoil and completely ruin and piss a lot of people off. So I just can't. But it's very,
Okay.
very important. So why? So what matters to me is I was actually going to say this before I even went to Xenoblade. The only DLC that matters to me if it's critical to the story's importance. So like I don't want to miss. Let's say I really enjoyed the story of this game. And now there's more to the story, and I want to know more of the lore, and it's like
Okay.
important stuff. Like, if it's minor things, then I don't care. And even if it's like more interesting areas or just super fun, whatever the case is, that's not what gets me. What only gets me is like, oh, well, I don't want to miss an important part of the story. It's
Okay.
like if Final Fantasy VII, okay, it had 3 discs, and I only played 2 of the discs, and the third one was DLC. But I'm gonna be like, well, I don't really play DLC, so I don't want to know how the story keeps going. I definitely
Yeah.
want to
Yeah. Yeah.
know if this how and when and I'll eat it up from whatever source. So let's say it's even like a movie or an anime that gives more context to the story. Well, now I want to watch it, right?
Do you think
So
that's a good thing that if they put the DLC as something that's critical to the story, or do you just play it because you feel you have to? Like, do you like that they do that?
I don't mind it
Okay.
actually. What I mean is like yes, technically I'd prefer it if it was just part of the game, but it's not like they would do that. What it would be is they finish the game, they finish the story.
Right.
Well, instead of making a whole second one, let's say they're like, well, we want to tell some story and we
Right.
want
Right.
you to
Right.
know, but we don't want to turn this into a whole game, so let's just release like a few hours of more of the story. I'm cool
Yep.
with that, and I would
Doesn't
play
bother
it
me
for
either.
that reason.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so that's the
Kind
only
of.
way I'm handling DLC. Now, the only exceptions I can think of this are like Nintendo because they don't do it that much, right? So like a
Yeah, that's
Mario
true.
Kart and a Smash, what is that? Like I can't really think of any more Nintendo DLC. Like the Bowser's Fury, that was more of an expansion of a game and you buy it with the game. You didn't like buy the
I
DLC
guess when I say
separately.
DLC, I mean
Yeah.
literally anything, right? Like
Yeah.
even an expansion is. I'll still count Phantom Liberty and Resident Evil 4 DLC. Like I'll count them both as
Well,
what
I,
I'm
I
referring
count
to.
those as DLCs. I guess what I mean is the Mario, what's it called? Bowser's Fury.
Bowser's Fury.
To play
It
that
came
on
with the
Switch, you
remaster.
had to
Yeah.
buy that
Yeah, that's
game.
true.
It's not like it was a separate purchase of
That's
just like
true. That's a
Bowser's
good point.
Fury. I don't think that would fall under like DLC.
Yeah, you're right. I
Um,
forgot it came together. So
but otherwise, I'm trying to think of any Nintendo DLC.
I mean, Mario
Splatoon,
Kart,
and I
obviously,
bought that.
Splatoon.
So I bought Splatoon DLC, Mario Kart, and Smash, and that's it, right? So if Nintendo ever does it, I'll buy it, and maybe that's like my exception.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's if I get more of the story, and anything outside of those two possibilities, I'm just not going into it. I didn't play like I love Doom, but I didn't play the DLC of Doom. Should
It
I?
was
Probably.
freaking
I'm sure it
hard.
was great, but
Oof,
I
it's
just
good stuff.
I don't know why. It doesn't drive me. Now, Resident Evil 4 Ada actually does bring a lot of critical things to the story because I played it
Uh-huh.
already on the on the PS2 version and the Wii version. You get
Right.
to see the game through her eyes, and it adds a whole lot of context and a whole lot of story to the overall experience. And I
I'm
think it's
seeing that.
actually pretty important.
Yep.
So that's something that is I would play that, right? But if it was just I don't know, I get to play as Ada and it's the same game and she just has different weapons and maybe plays different, I wouldn't play that.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
I
So
understand.
that's how I kind of treat DLC.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're both gonna play Cyberpunk, right? The DLC, the
Yeah,
expansion.
yeah, yeah. Because it adds more to the story, right? It's
Right.
it's not like now the 2.0 drop, that's an update to the game, right? But Phantom
Yep.
Liberty is
Phantom Liberty.
like,
Yeah.
oh, this is actually just more to the overall game and it continues the story and you get to see what happens with I know Johnny Silverhand's still in it. So obviously I'm very curious in that. And well, if people don't know, it actually doesn't take place when the game ends. It takes place, it's sliced in there. It's like
Yep.
I think it takes place a little over halfway through the game, and there's a moment
Pretty cool.
there.
I like when they do that.
Yeah, but I want to play it because I just want to know more of that story, so that's why I'm playing it. So that's it. Now, Horizon, for example, I would play. I would buy that and play it because it adds more to the story of like Horizon Forbidden West. The problem is I didn't even finish the original game, so why would I play that? And it's just I fell off of that game. Otherwise, it would fit into what I would be purchasing. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. The Horizon DLC is a good example of where I saw people pretty split.
yeah.
Some
But
people
it
bought it,
definitely
some people
adds
didn't.
more to the story of
It certainly does. Yeah.
Aloy, right? So, um, I would play that once I finish the game. I would then buy that and keep going. So yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Just
Anyway.
curious.
Yep. That's where I am with that now. In terms of all the rest of the conversation on is it slimy? Do they honestly I say 9 times out of 10 of any DLC that people release, I think they're things are weirdly in a pretty good shape when it comes to I
Yeah.
don't think there's any like a really popular game releasing really rip-off-ish, dumb DLC that you have to buy way after the fact. I can't really think of a good example of this.
Yeah.
Maybe like DLC you can buy in the moment when the game releases of like, oh, here's some skins or here's an extra map or something like that. But even
Yeah. The only one that comes to mind from a long time ago was Dead Space 3. Now, there's a difference between you finish Dead Space 3, let's say, you beat the game, and then later on, like you said, they make some DLC afterwards that adds more to the story, whether it's concurrent or after or
yeah,
before, whatever, right? That's fine. Dead Space 3, though, I specifically remember beating the game and it left off on a very deliberate cliffhanger. And then the DLC picked up right there and kind of completed the story. That one kind of annoyed me, That's a little different.
okay, it is,
Yeah, so
yeah.
so yeah. So besides that though, I can't think of anyone in particular that
Yeah, I'm
does
trying
it.
to imagine I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it's like right where you get to the final boss and you find out this epic conclusion of the story. It like ends and you're like, yeah, you're gonna have to spend about $10 more if you want to see the end to the
Yeah,
story.
that's what I mean. That's so
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
But I think sometimes developers get an unfair rap.
No one really does that though. Like,
That's what I'm saying. I
yeah.
feel like people sometimes think, let's say a developer releases a DLC either on the day that it comes out, which is okay, you're a little close to the edge there, or like a week later, and they'll say, no, this was made outside of the game's development, whatever. But people won't really buy that, even though, okay, maybe it's true. I don't know. It just depends, really, I guess. But I don't usually get too mad about it. Either I say it's worth it and I buy it, or I don't think it's worth it and I don't buy it. So not really a huge problem for me.
Okay. All right. I guess moving on from that, PlayStation head Jim Ryan did leave Sony, and he's out next spring. I'm going to read this little bit here, but after this, I want to ask you a pretty interesting. Like, I want to go through a little segment here on.
Okay.
I'll explain once I finish reading this. PlayStation head Jim Ryan is leaving the company, according to a press release from Sony Interactive Entertainment. Ryan has served as president and CEO since his appointment in 2018. Ryan's tenure at Sony spans nearly 30 years, during which he's held numerous leadership roles, including serving as the head of Sony Europe after former SIE president Andrew House passed the torch in 2011. Why is Jim Ryan leaving Sony? Well, in quotes of what he said, I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America. I will leave having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world. PlayStation will always be part of my life, and I feel more optimistic than ever about the future of SIE. I want to thank Yoshida-san for placing so much trust in me and being an incredible, sensitive, and supportive leader. Ryan remains at the company until March 2024. Effective April 1st, 2024, Sony Group Corporation President, COO, and CFO Hiroki Todaki will step as in SIE's interim CEO, reporting to Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida, effective October 23rd. Sony Interactive Entertainment will appoint Totika as chair to aid PlayStation ahead of Ryan's exit. Now, that's all what's happening with just PlayStation. But if you, let's say, for some reason, they were like, Rudy, we're making you CEO. You start tomorrow. What are 3 things? And try to come up, like, I know it's a hard question, but
Sure.
3 things that you would change at PlayStation if you're CEO. And let's say, you didn't have to battle this or that when it comes to other people. What you said goes, and you just had an ultimate say so, ultimate power, and you could change 3 things.
All right. Number 1 top priority, and I promise you, I'm not just saying it because it benefit me, but I think it would benefit many people and make more money for the company. I would make the games come out the same way they do with Xbox. I'd make them come out on PC day one. That would be the very first thing I would do.
That's a big move. That's a big move.
And I truly don't think that it's going to cut so much into the sales like some people think. Because
what do
you
think a downfall would be that people would be afraid of?
I think the downfall people would be afraid of, but not actually what happened, in my opinion, is that this would make the sales of Sony products Sony games on Sony consoles drop, and the PC sales would go way up. They'd still be making money, but that would happen. And truthfully,
now what's your answer to this? What are you telling these people as CEO
I would have to show
why that's not true?
I would have to show some stats on maybe past games that came out on PC, right? How long was it after it came out on PlayStation that it came out on PC? How much did it sell, right? Maybe we could say, oh, this is the first one we're releasing. We're going to release this game on both, and we're going to see. And then when it comes out and you see that it sold, if it's a big game, let's say, it sold 5 million copies on PlayStation, right? As compared to the last entry in this series sold a total of 10 million its lifetime sales, right? And on the first week, it sold 5 million, and it sold 1 million on PC. To me, that says that, hey, things are still on track. If only it's going to get bigger now, right? This game's going to eventually probably get to that same number. Meanwhile, you're going to have added sales on PC. I guess you would just have to show people that it's not going to be a negative thing, Although I think most people would probably agree with me, honestly, that it's not going to.
I definitely agree, but
I really don't see it as a negative.
Now, there's a lot of other stuff with that, though. It's like, okay, well, you can't just hit a button to bring it to PC.
Of course. Yeah, it would
So
have to
how do
be a
you? I
process.
mean, I guess you just have to dedicate a team to making sure that the product release day and date, and that means that you have to have these people constantly going into, let's say, Naughty Dog's work on this game, right?
Hmm.
And then you have this team that needs to release the PC. Do you have a separate team, or do you just force the team that when they're making the game, it needs to run on PlayStation and PC as you're
Sure,
making
sure.
it? Like, what do
I
you
think
do
because
there?
they hired that company to port PlayStation games anyway, maybe they could have them work on that thing, you know? Maybe that could be their sole purpose to
You know what
port
I
the
would do?
games.
And I just
Yeah,
thought of this. Maybe
yeah,
have those people initially train
yeah,
the Sony dev teams, all the
yeah.
internals, have them
So
up
that
in
they
there
can do
working
it.
with
Yeah.
them, train them so they can release. But I would ultimately want to put it into the hands of developers because anytime you have a separate team, there's gonna be that delay of okay, well we're in game engine version blah 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 here, but
Right,
the
right,
port team is gonna be behind because they're having to constantly play catch up, right?
right,
And
right.
maybe I would just force it to where no, you guys are just PC developers as well, and you
Yeah,
just
no,
release
it's
on
not a bad
and
idea.
I think that's what Xbox does. I don't think they have some PC port thing. They just understand how to release on Xbox and
Well,
PC.
there's a better answer. Whatever Xbox does, talk to them. Let them
Yeah,
help you.
yeah. So
Um,
okay,
yeah,
well
that's the
that's a
first one.
great big one. Fully agree there. Let's think of
Yeah,
another.
I think another could be now. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but I think you need to make the PS Plus, whatever you want to call it now. They need
Yeah,
to
what do you
really
do? What
give
do you
that.
do with PlayStation Plus? What
That's what I'm
what
saying.
is Rudy doing with this? Are you axing it?
Man,
Are
this
you
is
stepping it up? What
this
do
is
you
a
do
hard one
here?
because I feel that something needs to change, but I'm not sure I have the answer as to what exactly they need to do. I don't know if doing the same thing as Xbox. I don't know if they have that kind of money to do that. I don't. I don't
I
know.
don't think they can do the same with Xbox because Xbox is technically Microsoft and they can
Right.
always
And they
pull
can
money
always.
from them to make X, Y, and Z happen, and then they can get the money back later and not have to
Right.
sweat it nearly as hard as Sony.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I think Sony's had a weakness there because if they release the next, let's say Spider-Man was day and date on both, right? Um, you'd have a lot of people subscribing to the service playing it for like a month or two then dipping, and now instead of paying 70 they paid only like 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's now you're just on the other side of the fence being like, well, let's just hope they don't unsubscribe. But if I'm Sony, I wouldn't risk that. So I don't think you just I just don't think you can compete on that front. But does that mean that they shouldn't have it? What's my opinion here? I'm going to say, well, later in the story, this could feed into this. So if you scroll down a bit, see if I can find it here. Did I put it in here? I swear I did. Okay, I guess I didn't. But they are adding movies to PlayStation Plus. There was over 100 titles because of Sony Pictures, and they just remember when they upped the price, like I want to say a month ago, maybe
Mm-hmm.
it was a few weeks
Yep.
ago, and it was like what the hell, like $40 more for the most expensive tier or whatever. Well, they're adding movies, so it's like 110 movies that you can now watch as a part of the service, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Now, is it $40 more worth in a year? I'd say no, but at least that's a good idea. Maybe they can think outside of the box on like what could we offer if we can't do day one releases. What can we give the customer to make it worth subbing for? Um, Movies is a good thing, but I'm trying to think. I don't think that's enough though, because there's too many other movie TV things. What could they do? Maybe they just price it lower.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they
That's always a good
just,
approach.
instead of just have it $5 a month and have, because the games you have on there, they're all good games and stuff, but these are games that are 3 or 4 or 5 years old at this point. Most of them even older than 5 years. Most of that catalog. The whole point, the whole reason Xbox Game Pass is so exciting is because when Forza comes out in 2 days, I'm playing that thing.
Yeah.
When Halo Infinite campaign came out, I'm playing that thing. When whatever games drop it, I'm playing it. That's the whole excitement. If I was getting games years later, I wouldn't be paying for it, to be honest. Um, so if they can't do day one, maybe they just dramatically lower the price and they don't put such high expectations on this service. Don't try to compare it to Xbox numbers or anything. Just say, um, get rid of the OG PlayStation Plus thing with the cloud saves, right? I want to say it's called Essential. Just have the 2 tiers and you pay $5 a month and you get access to some games. You pay $10 a month, you get access to a lot more, and just end it there.
Hmm.
But even $10 a month is it's too high. You can pay $10 a month on Xbox Game Pass. I don't know if I'd pay $10 a month to play Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean? That's kind of an old game now. So I'm trying to think, maybe like $7. Maybe like do like a, think like maybe like $5 or like $4.99 or $7.99, something like that.
Yeah, those prices sounded
Dramatically
definitely a
lower
lot
the
better.
prices because you aren't really offering anything that is in like huge crazy demand or anything. It's more of just, hey, if you haven't gotten to these games X, Y, and Z, but I don't. They price very high, and for what they offer is not enough. Like, again, I think that's the biggest problem. So that, I guess that's what I would do. That would be what I do. I would just dramatically lower the prices, convince everyone a part of Sony. Look, this isn't something we're pouring a lot of money and time into. A game's a few years old, dump it onto that service, put it super cheap, and just get a little extra subscription money to help us fund this or that, and don't put too many eggs in this basket.
That's it. Yeah, you don't have to go
Yeah,
crazy. It's
yeah.
not. I think they have to get a team together to focus on this and do something. They know better than us what they can do. So
Its current state isn't good, so that's something
that's what
that
I
definitely
mean.
needs
Yeah.
to be changed. So, okay.
Yep.
One last thing. What's something else here?
One last
Where
one. I would bring some older games, whether they be remasters, remakes, or PC ports. Make some extra money from these games that are just sitting there dormant that no one is spending money on anymore. No one's buying Bloodborne brand new anymore, right? Why haven't you ported that? You know how much people want it. Why haven't you brought Infamous 1 and 2 over to PC or a remaster? You know what I mean? Like there's some old
Nintendo
games there.
and Xbox have been really good about supporting their
Yeah,
back stuff, and Sony
right.
isn't really that good at that. Yeah, so
I don't
maybe
know why,
you
because they have
bring that
so
up to
many.
the front. Yeah, yeah,
Right. They have so many that they could bring back that would be a hit that people would love, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, that would be my
Okay,
last
okay.
big one there.
Let me think of one more here, and then we'll end this bit. Let's see. Okay. If you're gonna do PSVR, take it seriously,
That too.
or just don't even do it. So
I agree.
I would change that. I would just talk with everybody and be like, look, what do you guys want to do? Do y'all want to do VR or not? And let's see a raise of hands. Everyone in the room here. And if there's more people that want to do it, all right, well, let's actually take this serious and actually put some real developers on this thing with our first party team, and not release these little like baby experience things that no one really cares about, and but they're going to buy $500, the same as the system price, for something that we aren't even caring much and putting much time into. It seems like a big waste of time and money if you're not going to care about it that much. So, I mean, a lot of time went into just what resource management to even get it going. And
Yeah.
what have they done for this thing? Horizon little game. The GT port to VR, that doesn't take that much time. I mean, it's cool, but like that's we need like actual years, 2 years on a big VR project, like you treat other games, and how you treat the importance of other things. Put that same importance and care into your VR. Otherwise, let's just get rid of this thing. So
Hmm.
that's where I'm taking all that. And the same with that handheld that's coming out. You know, what are we doing with this thing, guys?
Right, right. The PlayStation Portal.
What there's these devices that just these they didn't just I mean, it may look like they just crapped them out, but they didn't there's a lot of energy that goes into making these things. And
Yeah, yeah,
they
agreed.
hardly, but they're weirdly infamous for this, right? And this goes all the way back to Vita. It's like when that Vita came out, like they didn't take it serious enough, and that was a lot of
Nope,
people's big complaints, and then eventually led to its doom. So you would think after so long they would have learned by now, either do it or
nope.
don't.
But,
But I don't
but
know.
then they're coming with the 1 foot in with the Portal.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't imagine that thing's selling a ton of units, but we'll see.
I
See
think
how it
it's going to
goes.
be very similar story to the PlayStation VR. You know, you'll have the people really hardcore about Sony maybe buying it, but that's it. No
But
casual person is going to buy that thing.
I would assume that their projections for how much this thing will sell will be should be considerably higher than a VR unit. I would think at least. So if it doesn't meet that, I'm sure they're going to be like, "Wow, why didn't it sell as much as we thought it was going to sell?"
Now, if it was able to run without the system,
Right, right.
people
That'd be
could
different.
actually buy it and play it. But you know how many people are going to buy this thing thinking that it works independent? Dude, I
Oh
can see
yeah,
it now. I can see it
a
now.
ton.
So many just random parents buying this thing for their kid. Being like, oh, look, it's a PlayStation Portable thing. Not understanding that they have to have the PS5 and it be like a Wii U thing to where, like, well, you know, you can be kind of close to the PlayStation, but, you know, you can't go out too far. So it's I think there's going to be a lot of really bad miscommunication between what people are thinking it is to what it actually is.
When does it come out again?
Um
Isn't it not too far from now?
it's not too far, I'll tell you that right now. It's
Let's
probably holiday
see. It comes out. Whoa, they thought I typed in portable. Let me try that again. Portal.
portal.
Uh, what the? It
Maybe
keeps
they
on.
put it really big on the box. PlayStation 5 required.
Oh, okay, I found it. November 15th, 2023.
Okay.
Let me see if I can see a box or something.
If I'm CEO, I have to make a gigantic label
Like
on
a
that
big
box.
disclaimer. Yeah, it's $200, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it does not work independent. It like really needs to be pressed.
The thing that kills me the most is no Bluetooth unless you use our proprietary
Yeah.
headphones.
And what the cheapest was what?
That
$200 I want
is
to say.
so
No,
silly, man.
it was 160 and then it was 200 for the buds. That's what it was. It's like so you're going to have to what to even have the audio not play out that thing. Now you're spending like $400. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm getting at. These devices are like really strange. Um, but I'm gonna fix the device problem. If I'm CEO, I'm gonna be like,
Yep.
look, this is clearly not going well. Let's refigure all this out. So, all right. Oh, of course, one more thing. I don't know why. Of course, I'd mention this. We need some more internal Japanese teams because I don't think there's a single one right now. To be honest, is there? Does Sony even have an internal studio that works out of Japan in terms of game development? Or I
Uh,
don't think they do. First
it had
party,
Studio Japan, but that broke up, didn't it?
yeah, yeah. Okay, they only have two. They have 19 teams out of Japan and two in Japan. I think that's an issue. I think that needs to be way higher in Japan.
I agree.
Polygraphy Digital, which I think that's the Gran Turismo
That's the
team,
Gran Turismo people. Yep.
and then Team Asobi. Who are they? They
Team
made
Asobi. Wait, they
Astrobot.
made Astrobot. Yeah.
Is that all they do? Yeah, yeah, that's it. So they just did the Astrobot rescue mission and then the Astro's Playroom. So, and then you have the Gran Turismo team. That's pretty pathetic. Considering I don't know, they're a Japanese company. If you looked at Nintendo's developers, right, it wouldn't look like this. So I'd
Oh
put a
yeah.
lot. I'd create some Japanese teams. I'd be really key on doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. They need to really shake a few things up there, keep the things that are working, and do some
I
obvious things
mean,
that
they're
can help.
making big success right now. That's not the problem. But yep, I'd say that's all things we would do to change if we were now CEO tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this Naughty Dog story. Naughty Dog reportedly lays off at least 25 people with the Last of Us multiplayer game on ice. Kotaku is reporting that Naughty Dog, the PlayStation first-party studio behind the Last of Us and Uncharted franchises, has laid off at least 25 developers. Ouch. Cutting their contracts short. The layoffs reportedly began last week, according to two of Kotaku's sources, and various departments, from art to production, were hit. The majority of those laid off were in Naughty Dog's quality assurance testing department. I feel like that's probably an important department, but okay.
Right.
The 25 contract developers laid off were part of a downsizing at the studio, but Kotaku reports that full-time staff do not appear to be affected. The publication sources say severance is not being offered to those laid off. Ouch, again. And those affected, as well as those still working at Naughty Dog, are being pressured to keep the news quiet. Kotaku says the contracts of those affected won't be officially cut until the end of October, and those hits are expected to work through the month. With Kotaku's report, the publication says that one of its sources says Naughty Dog's in development Last of Us multiplayer game is not completely canceled, but it's basically on ice at this point. This follows news from earlier this year where Naughty Dog said the game needs more time and that our team will continue to work on the project as well as other games in development, including a brand new single-player experience. A few weeks after the statement from the studio, Bloomberg stated that the team working on the game was scaled back after a recent evaluation. The publication wrote that Sony asked Destiny 2 developer Bungie, which it now owns after a $3.6 billion acquisition in January of last year, to assess The Last of Us multiplayer game's development. Bungie reportedly questioned its long-term viability as a live service game, which led to Naughty Dog reassessing the game, scaling back the team, and moving developers to other projects. Wow. I mean, that Bungie part, I kind of like that they're using them effectively, but I think instead of putting it on ice after that, why not take the advice that, I mean, I guess they did say, hey, we don't know if this can make it long term, but then fix it, right? Like, why just
Yeah,
put it away?
so they
Yeah.
probably got rid of some
They probably got
employees
ripped
that were
apart by
working on the multiplayer, right?
Bungie
And
from
then
came
they're
through the doors.
probably working on Last of Us Part 3 instead.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, who knows?
I mean, that's my biggest guess there.
The Naughty Dog employee's probably like, oh man, here come the Bungie people again.
You know how salty you would be though is like you have somebody brand new being purchased, the big dogs here, and then they just get to go around and tell like your game sucks, your game sucks, your game sucks. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they're wording it way nicer than that, but come on. The fact that they can sit there and be the big dogs in this situation is pretty
Yep.
funny and a little weird. But anyway, there's that. And again, that's my guess. Is they're probably laying off some people, and they're probably not working like nearly as hard on this multiplayer game. I mean, I'm imagining they are just slightly. And they probably got most people just working on, I guess, Last of Us Part 3, right? I mean, I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
don't
know what else
know.
it'd be. Uncharted, right? Weren't
Uncharted.
they doing like
Yeah,
Uncharted with the daughter? Right? I think that's what's gonna happen here.
that'd be cool if they did that, I guess.
So they're probably doing those two things.
Yeah.
Which is like a little boring to me. I want something new. And hopefully we'll get something new. I mean, it says in here, including a brand new single player experience. So maybe they are actually working on something new.
Yeah. I mean, that would be awesome. If something
Yeah.
brand new, I would kind of like that, you know? Because I love Naughty Dog.
Especially from Naughty Dog, because they're like so good at what they do. It's just a matter of like, yeah, but it's been 20 years of this now, and we're just kind of
Right,
like,
exactly.
we would like to see something else.
Yep.
Okay. Epic Games lays off over 800 employees compared to that 25. Epic Games has announced it's laying off roughly 16% of its workforce, resulting in around 830 employees losing their jobs. In a statement posted by Epic president Tim Sweeney, he explained the layoffs as a cost-cutting measure that will include devastating Bandcamp, which is acquired last year, and spinning off advertising platform Super Awesome into an independent company. First of all, here's what I want to know. Let's say Bandcamp, right? Let's say you buy Bandcamp and then you cut it a year later. Did you just destroy Bandcamp? Is that what this means? Like, could they have just kept going and doing their own thing and being a like good place? Or did I'm hoping that you just cut them off but let them go back to just like, okay, the same people were
Right.
there, you cut it and you go back to let them do their thing? Or did you just straight like buy it and destroy it?
Yep.
That's what
That's
I'm very
the.
curious on. Anyway.
I wish I could see behind the scenes. See how it all went.
Epic had acquired Super Awesome back in 2020, and they're cutting them as well into an independent company. Which, okay, so maybe Bandcamp is screwed, and maybe Super Awesome is just back to working by themselves again. So, 250 people just from Super Awesome will be leaving from that total number. And basically just saying, hey, we're not making as much money as we were. We're trying to cut some things. We're trying to put some focus into this or that, and we're just kind of having to do this. And it's no big deal, is basically what they're trying to sell it as here. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know what the hell's going on with all of this. So I don't want to dwell on this too much, but that's what's happening there.
I guess at least they're getting severance in this case.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that could be a lifesaver for people. So, all right. Next up, Microsoft will reportedly finalize Activision Blizzard deal on Friday, October 13th. Ooh, Friday the 13th.
Right, of all days.
Never know. Yeah, I mean, God, we've talked about this story so much. Let's hope it is what it is. The end of it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this
Yeah, I don't
at
want
this
to
point.
talk anymore on it.
Um,
I'm just excited to be maybe in 2 or 3 months I get to open Game Pass and I get to see all of these like Activision games a part of it. That's pretty exciting to me. So that's about it. I just want this to hurry up and finish so I can see
yeah,
like crash on my Xbox or
yeah.
something. I don't know.
I'll do one more since that was so quick.
Yeah.
Next one, new Redfall update finally brings performance mode.
Yeah, apparently 60
Oh,
FPS. It came out, I want to say like today or yesterday, so I couldn't really find if it actually is hitting the 60. I'd be very curious on that. But they've released a part of this. I mean, they did a lot of patches and updates and all this. The list was quite like long. So maybe it's in a good shape. Now, I'm not playing it. I'm completely done with it. It's nothing I'm interested in. It would have to take a ton of people like really preaching the good word of like somehow this game's amazing or something, but I doubt it. Anyway, just know big update drop, changed a lot of things. Go look it up if you're interested. But the biggest thing was just the fact of, hey, now you can play 60 FPS on the console. If it runs smooth 60, that's what I really want to know. I
yeah,
can't really seem to
yeah,
find an answer yet.
yeah. God, and did you fix the game at all? Because
It looked like it. That's what I'm saying. Those patches is a long
right,
list, dude. They could have. So I don't know.
yep, yep. All
And
right,
then another small thing here: Rockstar adds 60 FPS support to Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare. So that PS5 version, again, it was just pretty much a port, nothing more. Not like I don't even think it was a high resolution. If it was upscale and it wasn't like real or anything. But now that the game runs at 60 instead of 30, honestly, that alone almost makes it, and it comes with Undead Nightmare, $50 for those two. Now we're kind of talking here. Like, at least
yeah,
there's actually some reason to actually buy it and play it now, because there was absolutely no difference whatsoever to just somehow if you were to play it, if you still had a PS3. Now, obviously playing on older consoles is a hurdle on its own, and maybe you want to buy it for that reason alone. But there has to be some difference between the two if you're going to bring a 360 or PS3 game than just straight the game repeated again. But I think adding 60 is a big enough difference. And
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say,
that's a big difference, I
honestly,
would say.
it kind of make, like now I think you should actually buy it if you are interested. So anyway,
Agreed.
another small thing here: Nintendo 3DS and Wii U online functionality is ending in April, so just be aware of that if you're caring for any reason.
Um,
Uh,
I did see a few people. It's interesting that when I see like one or two people say like, "Oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still like people still buying 3DS games, Wii U games like all the time out there, which is kind of funny." So
Now,
yeah,
the game stuff of like, oh, you can't go and like purchase things in games being dormant, and then now not ever be able to be like played ever again, and it ruins history and blah blah blah. That's a conversation I'll be a part of, but this is
this is
ending
right,
the online multiplayer functions of things and all of
right.
that, which
Hmm.
that isn't that big of a deal to me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, it's not as big a deal. It's just interesting that people
yeah.
are still buying games and playing things online back there. It's just funny. But yeah,
Yep.
gotta shut down at some point. So, all right, next up, Counter Strike 2 is suddenly now available out of nowhere. Announced earlier this year and released 4 days shy of its promised summer release window. First day of fall was September 23rd. Counter Strike 2 is now suddenly available. The game has been playable in limited test form for some time, and rumors were swirling that the game would release soon, but it is still a surprise to see the game suddenly available on Steam. It has taken over Counter Strike Global Offensive spot on Steam and functions as an update to the game. Below are some details from a press release for the game's official release. Built on the Source 2 engine, Counter-Strike 2 is modernized with realistic, physically based rendering, state-of-the-art networking, and upgraded community workshop tools. In addition to the classic objective-focused gameplay that Counter-Strike pioneered in 1999, Counter-Strike 2 features all new CS ratings with the updated Premier mode, global and regional leaderboards, upgraded and overhauled maps, game-changing dynamics, smoke grenades, tick rate independent gameplay, redesigned visual effects and audio. All items from CSGO move forward to CS2. Now, this all sounds great. The only thing I saw was that I saw some people upset because it's similar to like Overwatch 2, where they don't like that they replaced the original game completely. You know, I've seen some people saying that they like the gameplay of the first one better. They like this better or that, you know? So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
saw
I
that
feel like they
too.
should have just made it a separate thing, you know?
And I agree. Well, like, why not just give the option? Now,
Right.
I still have yet to play this Counter Strike 2. I wasn't interested enough to like hop onto a beta because I haven't played. I was a big Counter Strike nut. Like towards the end of 1.6 to Counter Strike Source coming out, in between there, I played for probably, let's say, like 4 or 5 years, and met a lot of people, including I ended up going to England when I was like, I think I was 19 years old. Yeah, and I actually was able to drink alcohol there in a bar. And yeah, I couldn't hear. I thought that was cool. But yeah, I was 19 and I met up with my friends that lived there that I met through Counter Strike Source, from way back in like high school. And, there was a moment in my life where this was gigantic for me, always playing like custom games, custom maps. And, anyway, I'm downloading Counter Strike 2 right now. I figured it's been so long, and I'm interested in it, you
All right,
know?
cool. Yeah, you have to let me
So,
know how it goes.
yeah, I mean, I guess next episode, I'll let you guys know if it's
Yeah.
something I'm into or not. But,
Sweet.
maybe I pick back up on this and I'm quite impressed. I mean, they've been clearly doing a lot, so I'm
Yeah.
interested
Yeah.
in all
I've
the
been working hard
differences
on
and
it.
how it feels and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Very cool. Yeah. You have to let me know what you think when you play it.
Yeah. Okay. City Skylines 2 console release delayed till spring 2024. Uh, Not to get into all the hows and whys and all that, but it's still hitting PC on October 24th. And it's just
Sure.
console versions, PS5 and Xbox Series X, going away till next spring, like next year. And then we have Teardown, which hits PS5 and Xbox Series X and S this November. Teardown is a voxel based simulation game all about destruction, as its name implies. It launched in April of last year on PC, and earlier this year, developer Tuxedo Labs announced the game was coming to consoles. Now the studio's revealed Teardown hits PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S on November 15th. When it hits on November 15th, it will also join the PlayStation Plus game catalog for PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members. Now, I've been noticing, I think there's been about 3 games now to where like when it releases day one on PlayStation. But it's, you know, it's always like a smaller indie thing. Back when we're talking about them releasing day one games, we're talking about like a big AAA, you know, the next Last of Us or the next God of War, something like that.
Right.
Yes, I'm aware that they do some of these like little tinier things, but
yeah, of course.
yeah. So to coincide with today's console launch news, Tuxedo Labs has revealed a series of new missions, maps, vehicles, and more coming to Teardown over the next year, as well as the game's first ever season pass. Tuxedo Labs recommends that new players start with Teardown Story Campaign, which features 40 levels. Each begins with a main task like stealing an object or destroying certain things, and a series of bonus challenges. You must complete these tasks using various tools, weapons, vehicles, and more before a clock runs out of time. After making your way through the campaign, Tuxedo Labs recommends the Sandbox mode, which allows you to explore all of the campaign levels without limitations. Alongside this console release, they are also releasing Time Campers DLC, which is the campaign's expansion set in the Wild West. The new expansion adds to the experience in many different ways, including a new storyline that takes you back in time, equips you with old-fashioned weapons and tools, and sets your destruction sights upon a dusty mining town. It's a departure from the contemporary setting of Teardown's main campaign, but the heist concept feels right at home in the area of elaborated bank robberies. Tuxedo Lab Teardown releases on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S next year in the spring. And we are getting it not next year in the spring, sorry, but very soon.
Yeah.
November 15th.
Have you ever played this game?
I'm aware of it. I haven't played it myself, but I've seen plenty of videos and it looks really cool. And I think I'm gonna be checking this out.
Yeah,
it's very unique. I've never seen
place.
anything like it.
Yeah, I tried it out at a friend's place. I thought it was great. It was really cool. So
yeah, you just kind of I don't know, can take like a big wrecker and just kind of like smash into a building, and the way the physics work is just really fun and cool to see. I don't know how to describe it. It makes destruction super fun and puzzly. I don't know.
Yeah, I love the physics in the game. It's really cool. So, all right. Next up, Underwater Souls-like Another Crab's Treasure gets Steam demo tomorrow. Developer Agro Crab, the studio behind 2020's Going Under and the publisher of 2021 Subway Midnight, revealed Another Crab's Treasure during a Nintendo Direct last year. It garnered a lot of attention, especially from those Souls-like players who were patiently awaiting a team to create an underwater one where you play as a crab. Now you can check out Another Crab's Treasure for yourself with a new Steam demo that goes live tomorrow. I remember seeing this. The studio says this demo will feature 2 explorable areas, the Moon Caves and the Expired Grove. If you haven't yet seen the game in action, check out the latest trailer below. And as you can see from the trailer above, Another Crab's Treasure is set to hit Xbox Game Pass when it launches on Xbox Series X, S, and 1 next year. It will also launch on Switch and PC at the same time. Agro Crab has not revealed the release date for the game. I remember seeing this game and thinking it looked kind of wacky in a while. Like, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Might try that demo out.
I don't know. It looks fun and funny.
Yeah. That's funny.
Okay. Well, that will do it on the news. We can get into what we're watching, what we're playing.
Okay. Did I put my stuff in the wrong spot or something?
You did.
I could have sworn I just put it there. Oh, I did. I had it flipped. Whoops. My bad. Good. Here, I'll grab this. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So I finished the Telltale, the Expanse series. There was 5 episodes total. I finished the last, I want to say 3 that I had left since the last time I recorded.
Okay.
Overall, if I had to give the whole thing a score, I'd probably get like a 7. I thought it was fine. It was enjoyable. It was different. Telltale's engine wasn't crap. Like it was working well. It looked like it was, that wasn't a problem really, which I was grateful for. The game looked good. It ran well. Story was pretty interesting. Some pretty big decisions in there. But yeah, overall it was fine. I'm glad I played it, but nothing I'd be like, oh my God, one of the best games of the year, It's fine. I was just happy to get back into a Telltale game again. It's been a long time. So So yeah. Besides that, I'm playing Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways. I'd say I'm probably. I remember I looked it up because I was curious. I remember it being 7 chapters long. I'm on chapter 4 right now, about halfway through chapter 4. So I'm about halfway through the DLC. Maybe I could finish it today. I like it so far. It's fun. I never played the original DLC for whatever reason. I like playing with Ada, obviously, and the game looks great and runs great. It feels good to be back on Resident Evil 4 gameplay. It's just so tight, so good. So yeah, so I'm enjoying seeing the other perspective, what's going on, and all that.
Well, I saw a
So,
few reviews of this, and I saw that
oh Tim,
apparently.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just got to take this call. Okay, hold
You're
on
good.
1 second. Sorry.
All right. I was saying I didn't actually play through the Resident Evil 4 remake, but I heard there was certain areas in the original game that just you didn't get to see in this remake. Well, in this
Right.
Ada, you get to see
Right.
those locations, so I'm aware of
Yep.
that, which is pretty cool. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some of that already, which I thought was cool. It's cool to see the even in the beginning when you're in the village and the bell goes off, and all the people walk away from you. Like even that, I see the other side of it. It's kind of cool. I'm enjoying it. It's not anything. I will say, it doesn't feel like some DLC where it's like, oh, this is such a new, different thing. It's just more Resident Evil, which is fine. But yeah, don't expect anything different. It's just like 3 more hours of Resident Evil 4. So yeah, and I'm planning on. So I know I still have Final Fantasy 15. So I keep saying 15, 16 waiting there. I do plan on getting back to that game, and I do plan on getting back to Zelda. But I've just been playing the new games as they come because they're shorter games. So I am going to try to go ahead and play the Cyberpunk DLC, the expansion, right after this. So if I finish Resident Evil today, I might even start that today, possibly. So yeah,
okay.
definitely looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah, before we start recording, my plan is Starfield. I'm playing, finishing that. I'm trying with Cyberpunk I want to do a new game and get all the way to the point of Phantom Liberty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once I
Yep.
get there, um, put it on pause and lean more into at that point. I'm sure what Mario and Spider-Man are coming out like the
Oh
20th,
man,
so I want to
can't
jump on
wait for
that.
Mario, dude.
So I think
So excited.
well, let's talk about this. Okay, so let's just what is our plan till the end of the year before we go here?
Well, hold on.
Let's
Sorry.
map
One
out our
one more
dates here.
one more thing I forgot to mention
Yeah.
because I forgot I wasn't here last week. I did beat Armored Core as well. Forgot to
Oh,
quickly mention
sick.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up getting like when I first started the game, I liked it, thought it was pretty good. But then something clicked. I don't know. Maybe after chapter 2, I just really started getting into it. Started to get into the customizations and doing the arena battles and unlocking more stuff. And I started getting to really hard boss battles, and you have to really think about it and do this and do that. And something got me, and I just couldn't stop playing. I was playing on my Steam Deck all the time. By the way, great game to play on the Steam Deck. So yeah, so I ended up beating it. It took me about 20-ish hours. I thought it was a really great game. Man, it was like even better than I thought it was gonna be. Overall, now that the game's done, I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It was
Okay.
excellent, like really, really good. The gameplay is so satisfying and so good. I love that they put those arena battles in it where you can kind of just fight these really strong mechs. They get better and better as you go. You can unlock these chips that give you abilities that you can unlock as you get more and more of them. There's multiplayer in it, which I actually never tried. Still need to try that. That unlocks at some point too. And finally, one thing I thought that was really cool about the game is you have multiple paths. Think like Star Fox 64, how you can like go left,
Yeah. Yeah.
left, finish the game, go right, right, right. So it incentivizes people to replay the game. There's many missions that I didn't even see because there's branching paths,
So I didn't know it had that.
Um,
That's cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really good.
There's missions where it's like do you want to go against this person or this mech, or do you want to support them? Go against them, it's a tougher mission, but you have to kill this mech, or support them and fight with them cooperatively against another team, and you get less money and less experience, right? So they have stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, definitely enjoyed it, man. Really, really good game. I forgot to mention that because I wasn't here last week. So
Yeah. I'm just playing Starfield. About to finish that, and then that's where I'm trying to think. Okay, well, what am I playing after I beat Starfield? And that's what I want to get into before we leave here. I sent you. Did you see the message? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just scroll down to current date here and just see what's
It's not
coming
opening
up
for me for some reason. Don't
and
know why.
see if you can map out the rest of your year. Um, so once I finish Starfield,
Oh,
I
there we go.
want to get back to Resident Evil 4 and play Cyberpunk 2077. Now, what I'm thinking of
Okay.
doing with Cyberpunk 2077 side, like I was saying, just get to where to get the Phantom Liberty. And then by that time, I'm thinking that's when I will jump on. Let's see here. Um,
I
oh,
see.
uh, Forza Motorsport comes out October 10th. So
Okay.
it's going to be Starfield, Forza, and I'll be playing those two.
All
And
right, let's stop in
then,
October. Let's do 1 month at a
okay,
time. So
okay,
that's what you have for October, right?
hold on, no. And then I'm also go here. Sonic Superstars. I'm actually playing that with
Okay.
my kid. I've already established that with him.
All right.
So I'm playing that. That comes out the 17th.
Okay.
They moved it ahead a little because they didn't want the same day as Spider-Man. I think that's what
Right.
it was. Um, Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder come out the same day.
Same day.
Now, I'm trying to think, do I play Spider-Man 2 day one? What are you doing?
All right. So
Well, hold on.
I'm.
Okay. I guess let me finish this bit
All right. Go ahead and
here.
finish, and then I'll
Go
tell you
ahead and,
about it.
yeah. Then I'm thinking, because I'm realizing it's going to be a little harder of a question now. So
Yeah.
let's just say Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, I was going to get. I'm probably just going, yeah, I'm just skipping that for right now.
Okay.
I want that a part of my collection, but I don't know when I'm going to get it. I'm not trying to play that day one or anything. Alan Wake 2, I do want to. That's still in October. Okay, so I think that's it. So I have just till the end of
Okay.
October here. I have Starfield. About to finish that. I think I'm like, I mean, it's as long as short as I wanted to make it to be. I'm just having a hard time because
Sure.
I keep finding cool new crap, and I'm like, well, I got to see what's going on here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I could technically finish it in like 5 hours, but
Gotcha.
I'm really really trying my best, but they just keep giving me cool shit to sidetrack me. So um,
Gotcha. Okay.
Forza comes out the 10th. I am jumping that right at release. I've been dying for like just a really good racer. It's been a really long time of like where I actually get tracks and it not be like arcadey or anything like that. Gran Turismo was the last, and I love that. Now I want to see what Forza can bring to the table for this gen and see how impressive that is. Really looking forward to it. Sonic Superstars, October 17th. I'm playing that with my kid. Cyberpunk 2077. I want to at least get to where I can catch up to the DLC and play with the 2.0,
Okay.
and I want to start fresh on that instead of just playing with my character. I could, but the game has so much new stuff. And if you started right at the DLC and they kept going forward, or whatever. Let's say you didn't beat it. If you beat it, I would say maybe not restart. But since I didn't actually finish the whole campaign, I think it's going to work in my favor of restarting because so much content got filled in like beginning parts that weren't normally there. So I
Mhm.
do want to see what all that is. Anyway, and then Resident Evil 4, I want to play both the game and Ada, and both of those, what, 30 hours? Because I want to say Resident
Uh,
Evil 4 remakes like 24 hours or something like that. I
yeah,
don't know.
somewhere around the 20-ish.
Okay. And then Marvel Spider-Man 2, October 20th, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, October 20th, and Alan Wake 2, October 27th. I'm 100% on Alan Wake 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now,
Okay.
Marvel Spider-Man 2, do I want to try to fit that in alongside all of that? That's where I'm like, I don't know because I'm still would be playing at this point Cyberpunk Resident Evil 4.
Right.
So it's like I can't see me dropping those to play Spider-Man. So I'm probably going to have to push Spider-Man till after Mario and Alan Wake.
Fair.
Anyway, but go to your October. Let me hear it.
Okay. So obviously I'm gonna finish up the Resident Evil DLC today. I'm gonna jump right into Cyberpunk after that. Now I'm looking on how long to beat. It says Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty main story 12.5 hours, but plus side stuff 19.5. I'm guessing I'll be closer to that number, I would guess. Right? So I'll do that. Now I understand Spider-Man and Mario come out in what, a week and a half. So I think I am going to get them both only because the Switch, Mario's on the Switch. I can bring that with me to work and stuff. So that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. But I do truly feel like Mario is the game that's gonna kind of pull me in right away. I've never played a new Mario game and not been pulled in right away. It's just so easy to play and so addictive.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't ignore that one. It's
Right,
automatic. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm gonna get that, and then I'll play Spider-Man at home. After that,
First of all, you just make me think of the meme.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh man, it's so true. Let's see. After that,
it sounds like you're gonna play it on PS4. Spider-Man at home, you get the PS4 version.
Spider-Man at home,
2.
yeah. No, that's it. Yeah. So for this month, I guess Cyberpunk, Spider-Man, Mario. That's my plan at least.
Okay. I looked through November. My November is Star Ocean Second Story R, November 2nd. WarioWare Move It, November 3rd. And then Super Mario RPG, November 17th. So that's my November. And then December is going to be nothing. Okay. So I have my whole year planned out here.
Okay. So my November, if I'm not mistaken, I just want to look at. I looked at the list. I only see one game, but I want to make sure that's accurate because I have my own list here. Only small thing I forgot to mention is there's a Theater Rhythm DLC coming out on Wednesday. Which one is? Did they reveal what that was? Because before it just said to be announced. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know if it
Theater
actually
Rhythm DLC on.
Also,
October.
Persona 5 Tactica. I will be getting that a part of Game Pass, so I wasn't. I am going to be trying that out now. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, not like it, whatever. I don't know what to think on it. But that is one more thing that I need to add to the mix on November 17th. Okay. Of like, I'm interested, but who knows if I stick to it.
Gotcha. Okay, so I just found out that the DLC is actually Bravely Default, so I thought that was really cool. And then it looks like Final Fantasy 16 DLC for Theater Rhythm ended up being announced for November 1st, so that's cool. I'm going to get that as well. Okay, so besides those two smaller ones, I have, let's see, Super Mario RPG Remake, of course. And that's literally all I have for November, and I have nothing for December.
Okay. You're not getting WarioWare, dude? Come on.
I would love to get WarioWare, but I might wait on it just because of the volume of games I have already.
So. Well, I have to get it because I have friends come over all the time, and we play Mario Kart or Jackbox or whatever, you know? And this WarioWare will totally fill into this. Yes.
I Am Jesus Christ comes out in December. You never know. I'll have to pick that up.
Let's go. All right.
Oh, wait, you're not getting the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
I am. Those are like automatic to me. It's more of when I'm going to be buying them regardless. It's just a matter of I'm not going to buy it till I actually go to start playing it. Gotcha. And I want to play it alongside my kid. So I pretty much at this point just have to like work out a game plan with him on when we want to tackle it.
Okay, I was wrong too. For some reason, I thought that was in December, but that's in to be announced.
But I wasn't thinking about DLC, so that is a good point. Right. That is something, yeah.
This game, Stellar Blade, it has no release date, but I really want to play that game.
Yeah,
when it comes out. But yeah, man. So it looks like in November, I'm gonna be catching up.
November and December is gonna be
December. Yeah.
Outside of Super Mario RPG and Star Ocean Second Story, those are two JRPGs that I'm going to dive really into and be incredibly excited for both of those. PS1 is one of my favorite systems. I say this all the time. That game is one of the very big reasons I love that game on PS1. So very stoked for that. And I'm getting Super Mario RPG both in December. So those are going to be like huge adventures for me that are going to like soak up a lot of time. December looks like nothing, which is great. Because I have a lot to play.
My goal. This is my goal for the end of the year. Cyberpunk done. Spider-Man done. Mario Wonder done. Final Fantasy 16 done, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom done. 5 games. 5 games / expansions that I need to beat from now to December 31st. That's
So
my
let's
goal.
do this. Let's do after Sumaru RPG. After I beat that, it comes out November 17th. I'm
Right.
playing the hell out of that thing beginning and probably beating it real quick
Oh, yeah.
because I'm so
Yeah.
fucking excited to play that thing.
Can't wait for that. Man.
So once I beat that, then I will have the whole rest of that December to just play Marvel Spider-Man 2. And that will be my December game. And I'll do that. I think that I'll figure that out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
All
we'll
right.
see. I'm excited though, man. Some good games on the horizon. Again, I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is a friend that I left in the past, and I haven't reached out
I'm
to him in
okay
a
with
while.
it.
I need to,
I'm gonna be a jerk.
You're
and
over
be
that.
like,
You're over that, friend. I need to go back. I need to see it through. I still remember the story perfectly, so I got to go back and do that. So yeah,
That's the thing. It's a pretty cool freaking story. Yeah. I just don't really. Its gameplay's a little whatever, and I don't know. There's so many things we already talked about a million times.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that'll do her till next week.
Yep, sounds good. Take care, everybody.
Oh, by the way, I haven't
Mhm.
mentioned on here yet. I got a studio. It's been about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Today, I'm going back by there right after I finished recording this. Literally came home to record and going back out. Now everything's not set up there, so that's why I'm not recording there. We still got to get like internet up. We still got to get desk up, furniture, the whole shebang. But friend Alex, who's one of us working up in there, just got a water fountain working, and we hooked it up with Hawaiian Punch, and we can either swap it with just normal Hawaiian Punch or alcoholic Hawaiian Punch.
Ooh,
So there's
sounds good.
there's that
Okay.
water fountain up in our keeping things classy.
That's awesome.
Anyway. All right,
think
but
I'd
yeah,
take it.
I'm actually heading right back out there to finish setting some of the
All
other
right.
things, trying to figure out where exactly we're setting up. We're doing like a video room for like all the YouTube stuff, setting up a specific sound room that's a lot smaller that we can just sort of like line the walls with tape and foam, get that all sounding good. There's a lot happening, super stoked for it, and maybe next week you'll actually see me there in studio. So
All right. Sounds good. I look forward to it, man. That'll be cool.
later.
All right. Later, guys.